It's my pleasure to introduce Cheri Helt, who is going to provide context for the tough choices we have to make about PERS in order to get more dollars into the classroom. Cheri is a locally elected member of the Bend-Lapine School District and sits on the Legislative Policy Committee of the Oregon School Boards Association. She's also on the Legislative Advisory Committee for the PERS Board. Cheri is also a small business owner, and if you're ever in Bend, I highly personally recommend that you stop at a restaurant, Zydeco, which is a great place to eat. Cheri's going to provide this context for us, and let me welcome her to the stage. Aha. Thank you very much.
Thank you, John, for that kind introduction. It's truly a pleasure and a great honor to be here among my business peers today. I want to thank you for giving me this chance to discuss with you a matter that I am very passionate about: providing a world-class education for all children in Oregon. I believe this is what we need to grow our economy. No issue is more deserving of our time, creativity, and commitment than the education of our youth and the rewards that a great education system can reap upon our businesses and communities. I come to you today wearing 3 hats. First, and most importantly, I am a mother. I have 3 amazing children. 2 of them attend Cascade Middle School in Bend. My youngest will start kindergarten in 2015. She will be part of the Governor's 40-40-20 initiative. Second, I am a restaurant owner. My husband and I own Zydeco Kitchen and Cocktails in Bend. As business people, we know and understand the tremendous challenges of making a small business succeed. We take pride every day in the contribution we make to Central Oregon's growing economy. We have 52 employees, and as you all know, on some days that can be like having 52 more children. Which brings me to my 3rd hat. I am a member of the Bend-Lapine School Board. Like all other elected volunteers who serve on the Oregon's public school boards, I have had to make very difficult decisions in the past few years as costs have risen and budgets have declined. We have eliminated teaching positions, cut programs, and increased class sizes, to name a few of the many ways we have cut our budgets. We have been forced to make cuts that go too far. The message I want to bring to you is really very simple and straightforward. We need a sustainable PERS system. We need a system that works for everyone without robbing our children of their futures, a sustainable PERS system that does not come at the cost of our children's educations. And we must find a solution to our mounting PERS debt. In the current biennium, the PERS contribution rate for K-12 school districts increased to a little over 19% of the payroll, a rate set before the effects of the most recent recession kicked in. Today, the state's own actuary estimates that Oregon K-12 school districts will pay, on average, about 26.7% of payroll to PERS for the biennium beginning July 2013. That's more than $300 million that will be rerouted from Oregon's classrooms into the PERS fund next year alone. This huge increase follows a long period of stagnant or reduced school funding, during a period when the cost of running schools and academic programs have soared higher and higher. When talking about these budget shortfalls, our mounting PERS debt, I was recently told these financial shortfalls will only affect 1 generation of children, and then we will be back on track. Is that okay with you? It certainly is not okay with me. We cannot afford to leave tens of thousands of our children behind because we were afraid to advocate for change. The children of Oregon are the ones who have suffered the consequences of reduced funding and growing PERS costs throughout Oregon. The ongoing budget squeeze has forced school districts to lay off teachers, increase class sizes, and decrease school year, and cut valuable academic programs. At the Bend-Lapine schools, we've worked hard to manage these budget cuts to minimize the impact on the classrooms of our students. We've been fortunate to have the cooperation of our teachers' unions and classified employee unions, who have been willing to make personal sacrifices in modifying contracts and eliminating some negotiated increases in compensation. We have shortened contracts for all employees, delayed the purchases of much-needed textbooks and technology, shortened the school year, eliminated teaching positions, and increased class sizes. In fact, we have 112 fewer employees in Ben Lapine than we did just 3 years ago, even though our student population has grown by 750 kids. Statewide, about 4,000 teachers have lost their jobs during the same time period. I can think of no other business that can be growing and losing revenue at the same time. Yet, this is exactly what is happening in education today. More students are arriving at our schools, and we have less income and resources to deliver our work. My district is one of 197 in Oregon. Let me put this into real numbers for you and give you an example of what the increase in PERS cost alone does to our operating budget at the Ben Lapine schools. In the last 2 years, Ben Lapine Schools has been forced to divert $10 million additional dollars from the classroom into the PERS fund, and that is just the beginning. In the upcoming biennium, the next 2 years, that additional $10 million will grow to 19 additional dollars into PERS obligations diverted from our classrooms. The following biennium, more increases and more compounding. There is no end in sight, and that is just not acceptable. The amount continues to compound for years to come, reducing services to students and moving millions and millions of scarce operating dollars out of our classrooms and into the PERS account. We must and can change this cycle. There is a solution. Governor Kitzhaber has recognized if we do nothing, the PERS cost alone will add $300 million to the overall costs of public education in the coming biennium alone. To ensure that Oregon students continue to succeed and perform at high levels, the governor proposes to ask the next legislature to reduce this new cost by modifying the PERS cost of living adjustments, or COLA, for retirees, and by eliminating the tax benefit paid to out-of-state PERS retirees. Taking this action could recoup about $253 million of the added PERS cost for schools. Doing this, in my view, would be a laudable first step. Don't get me wrong, other steps will be necessary as the governor and legislature navigate the complex legal and constitutional issues that surround PERS reform. We must stress to our elected legislators and public officials how important PERS reform is to every one of our children and our children's children. Though the politics and legalities present challenges, we must demand that our elected leaders roll up their sleeves and do the necessary heavy lifting. We must have the courage to do the right thing. Schools have suffered repeated cuts to their budgets, and PERS is only one part of the problem, a critical part to be sure, but we must no longer ignore the fact that budgets for prisons and healthcare have gone up biennium after biennium, while the resources available to schools have dwindled. I want to stress that I don't advocate reforming PERS because I lack faith in Oregon's public school teachers or other education workers. Just the opposite is true. Teachers are among the people I admire most in this world. My intent is not to reduce their compensation, but rather to create a sustainable PERS system. My hope is to lighten the financial burden that PERS has inflicted on school districts. Our teachers in our districts are carrying the weight of this massive burden in their classrooms. We have English teachers that teach 240 students a day, math teachers with 48 students in a classroom. That is way too many papers to grade and prevents teachers from doing the quality of work they all strive to achieve. Our teachers are our best assets. We need to unburden educators, reduce class sizes, add back days to the school year, and give every student the tools they need to succeed in the classroom and beyond. I believe we can accomplish these goals if we all work together. As business people, we know what business and industry need to succeed. One of our biggest needs, and perhaps our most important, is a public school system that prepares our students to take the productive and innovative jobs that our growing industries make available. Business people want this not only for their businesses, they want it for their own children. This is why we must bring a strong, unified message to the next legislature that thoughtful PERS reform should be at the top of their to-do list. A message that comes from a potent coalition of stakeholders in public education and the business sector. The state of Oregon must deliver the resources that public education needs to enable our kids to compete, succeed, and thrive in this global economy and drive the economic business engine in Oregon. With sustainable changes to PERS and adequate education funding, we will educate the workforce Oregon businesses need. As business leaders, we are always looking for a competent workforce. We need employees that can think critically, communicate effectively, operate creatively, and collaborate. This is the type of employee that will help us grow our businesses and our economy in Oregon. We must have a stable education system that can nurture and grow our future. We must make education our top priority in Oregon. Thank you very much.